Tesla has changed the game once again. Optimus Gen 2 is starting to feel old now. Gen 3 has arrived and it looks more like a sports car athlete than a robot. Lighter, faster, more powerful, and such an impressive piece of engineering that it can leave people amazed. The things that have surfaced so far are genuinely surprising. The body movements look incredibly smooth, the reaction time seems extremely fast, and the level of finesse in the design makes Gen 2 feel completely outclassed. Elon Musk's dream now feels even closer. A humanoid robot that can work at home and perform even better than humans. Some reports and leaks are suggesting that this time Tesla is not just building a robot. They are trying to copy human movement itself. If that really happens, then in the coming years, the entire definition of robotics could change. And further in this video, we'll see what exactly looks new in Gen 3, how different it is from Gen 2, which hidden upgrades are creating discussion, and why people are calling it Tesla's biggest AI step yet. So make sure to watch this video until the end, because what's coming next might truly surprise you. Before we move ahead, subscribe to the channel so you can watch videos like this before everyone else. Now, if we really want to understand Tesla Bot Gen 3 properly, we have to go a little back because no big thing gets built in a single day. Today, people are looking at Tesla Bot and saying it could change the world of robotics. But its beginning was not that smooth. At first, many people treated it like a joke. Some thought Tesla was only creating hype, but slowly the story started to change. When Tesla first introduced the idea of a humanoid robot, the biggest question was, why did Tesla even need to build a robot? After all, the company was already making electric cars. But Elon Musk and Tesla were thinking differently. Their idea was that if a car can understand the world around it using cameras and AI, make decisions and recognize its path, then the same technology could also be used inside a human, like robot. That's where the concept of Tesla Bot came from. A humanoid robot that looks like a human, works in environments designed by humans, and handles tasks people do not enjoy repeating again and again. Lifting heavy items in factories, doing repetitive work, working in risky places. That was the original vision. But as simple as the idea sounded, building it was much more difficult. Then came the first version, Gen 1. When its first glimpse was shown, expectations were extremely high, but reality looked a little different. In the early stage, the robot was limited to basic movements. Walking was controlled. Body movement felt slightly stiff. Balance did not look very natural, and overall it gave the feeling that the technology was still in its early phase. The robot could perform some simple actions, but it did not show the flexibility and confidence of humans. Then a major shift happened and Gen 2 arrived. This was the point where people started feeling that Tesla might actually be serious about pushing this project forward. The first noticeable difference in Gen 2 was movement. Compared to before, the robot looked much smoother, hand movements improved, body control became better, and walking started to feel more natural. There was visible progress in the balance system as well. The most interesting part was that Gen 2 was not just a visual upgrade. It showed efforts to improve efficiency from the inside, making the body lighter, optimizing parts, and making movements more practical. These changes became noticeable. For the first time, it felt like Tesla was not simply showing a demo, but moving toward creating a truly usable robot. But now we come to the thing that has created the most excitement, Gen 3. Right now, people are excited because it is not being seen as just the next version, but as a generation jump. The reason is not only speed or design. The discussion is that Tesla may be moving toward making the robot more athletic, more responsive, and more human-like. People are talking about sport-level engineering because the focus now does not seem to be only on walking. It appears to be shifting toward body control. That means the robot will not just take steps. It will understand movement, changing direction quickly, maintaining balance, handling objects, and working continuously in a smooth way. These are the things that could make Gen 3 stand out. First look breakdown. First of all, if we talk about the design, people noticed that the body proportions started looking more balanced and natural compared to before. Building a humanoid robot is not just about attaching 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head. The hardest part is designing the body in a way that the movement does not feel strange. When humans walk, body weight keeps shifting slightly with every step. Arms swing naturally, shoulders adjust, knees change angles, and the whole body structure works together to maintain balance. This is considered one of the most difficult things to achieve in robotics. That's where people started feeling that Gen 3 may have tuned the body structure in a more practical way. The goal does not seem to be making the robot look like a heavy bodybuilder or making it feel too mechanical. Instead, the proportions appear designed so that weight can stay evenly distributed during movement. Because if a robot becomes too heavy on the upper side, balance gets disturbed. And if lower body control is weak, walking starts looking unnatural. Older robots often gave a robotic feeling in movement, meaning a command was given and the movement was completed. But now the thing people are talking about is flow. Humans do not control every movement separately while walking. The body keeps adjusting automatically. If a small obstacle appears ahead, steps change. If a turn is needed, body weight shifts. That natural feeling is one of the biggest challenges in robotics. Now let's talk about joints. At first glance, this may seem like a small detail, but this is where the real game happens. In the human body, joints are not only there for bending, they also absorb force. When we walk, run or turn, the body constantly makes micro-adjustments. If robot joints are too stiff, movement feels jerky. If they are too soft, control becomes poor. But now we come to the most interesting part. Why are people calling it athletic? Is it just because it looks faster? Not at all. This is where the concept of sport-level engineering comes in. When people hear sport-level engineering, they often think it simply means more speed. But in sports, being fast alone is not enough. If an athlete runs fast but loses balance, performance is over. A real athlete combines speed, balance, reaction, and energy together. Imagine a football player running and suddenly needing to change direction. They do not just turn their legs, their entire body reacts. Body weight shifts, muscles adjust, the center of gravity changes, and movement stays under control. That dynamic control is one of the biggest strengths in sports. Now, bringing this same logic into robots is what people are calling sport-level engineering. That means the robot should not just walk, it should walk intelligently. If it lifts weight, the body should adjust. If it needs to avoid something, it should react instantly. If it changes direction, it should not lose balance. Agility becomes very important here, meaning moving quickly while still maintaining control. Stability means keeping the body steady even during difficult movements. Fast reaction means the robot understands situations immediately instead of responding late. Energy control means using only the amount of energy needed for each movement. And body balance means stabilizing itself after every action. How can Gen 3 move like a human? Now let's talk about the thing that becomes the real identity of any humanoid robot, its movement. Because if we are being honest, building a robot is difficult. But making a robot move like a human is many times more difficult than that. And that is why most of the discussion around Tesla Bot Gen 3 is not about its look but about its movement. Because if a robot can only stand still, then it is just a machine. But if that same robot can walk, turn, lift objects, and maintain its own balance, then the whole story changes. First, let's understand walking. Looking at humans, walking seems like a very easy thing. But in reality, when we walk, our brain is making thousands of tiny decisions every second. Which foot moves first? How much weight shifts forward? How much the body leans? How much the arms move? All of this happens automatically. We do not even notice it. But for a robot, every small movement has to be calculated. This is where the thinking behind something like Gen 3 becomes interesting. If a robot wants to walk like a human, it cannot just learn to move its legs forward. It also has to maintain balance with every step, because while walking, humans are constantly falling a little and catching themselves again. That controlled falling is what real walking actually is. Now let's talk about turning. This becomes even more difficult, because if a robot only rotates its body without adjusting its weight, it can fall. When humans turn, the entire body system works together. Feet change angles, the waist rotates, shoulders adjust, and the head locks onto direction. This coordinated movement is considered one of the biggest challenges in robotics. Then comes object lifting. Lifting and handling things. From the outside, it looks simple, but in reality, it is a very complex task for a robot. Think about a box being light or heavy. Humans can estimate it the moment they touch it and apply force accordingly. But a robot has to understand exactly how much force to use. Too much force and the object could break. Too little and it could slip or fall. That is why in future robots, having strong hands alone will not be enough. They will also need to understand what is placed in front of them. And this is what makes hand coordination so important. When humans pick up a glass of water, it is not only the hands doing the work. The eyes observe, the brain calculates distance, the hands move into position, and the fingers control pressure. All of this happens so fast that we never even notice it. But for a robot, this entire process becomes a challenge. If systems like Gen 3 are able to achieve this level of coordination, then the robot will not just pick things up, it will be able to handle and manage them properly too. AI brain upgrade is the real power, software, not hardware. The truth is, no matter how strong a robot is, no matter how advanced its joints are, if it does not have the right brain, then it will remain nothing more than a moving machine. And this is where the real meaning of an AI brain upgrade comes in. A robot's body is its strength, but the one making decisions is its AI. Just like in humans, muscles do the work, but the brain makes the decisions. In robots, motors do the work, but the commands come from software. Think about it. If a robot has very powerful hands, but does not understand what object is placed in front of it, how heavy it is, or how it should hold it, then it will either drop the object or break it. That is why in today's world of robotics, the real competition has become more about software than hardware. First, let's understand the vision system. Humans do not just see images through their eyes, they recognize things as well. Whether there is a chair or a person in front of us, whether the path is open or blocked, which object is near and which is far, our brain understands all of this instantly. A robot has to do the same thing, but for a robot, a camera is not simply an eye. The camera sends data and then AI understands that data. What the object is, what shape it has, how far it is, whether it is moving or not. All of this is decided by software. That is why a good vision system makes a robot much smarter. Now let's come to object understanding. This is where the difference between a simple machine and an intelligent robot begins. Imagine a robot has a book, a water bottle, and a glass cup placed in front of it. If the robot works only based on shape, mistakes can happen. But if AI understands the object, then it can know that the glass should be held gently. The bottle can be lifted with normal force, and the book needs to be handled differently. That means the robot is not just seeing, it is trying to understand. And this capability could make future robots far more useful. Now comes another major part, learning capability. This is the thing that separates AI from traditional software. In older systems, every task had to be programmed in advance, but the idea behind AI is a little different. Imagine a robot tries to pick something up and fails. If the system is smart, it can change its method the next time. Slowly it can improve itself, just like humans improve through practice. That is why people say that in the future robots may not just follow instructions, they may also learn from experience. Then comes real-time response. And this is where AI faces its biggest test. Imagine you are walking and suddenly someone appears in front of you. Your brain reacts instantly. You stop, change direction, or avoid the obstacle. All of this happens in less than a second. For a robot, the challenge is exactly the same. It has to see first, then understand, then make a decision, and then move. All of it instantly. If there is a delay in this process, the robot will feel slow or awkward. This is where the real meaning of an AI brain upgrade becomes clear. The faster the software understands data, the more natural the robot's behavior will feel. Gen 3 versus Gen 2, a head-to-head showdown. Now, let's come to the question that almost every Tesla fan and robotics follower is asking. If Tesla bought Gen 3 arrives, then how different will it actually be from Gen 2? Because from the outside, both may look like robots, but the real difference is often hidden inside. And in the world of technology, sometimes it is not a small upgrade that changes things. It changes the entire experience. First, let's talk about speed. Speed does not simply mean walking faster. The real difference is how quickly the robot understands a situation and reacts to it. Think of Gen 2 like a new player entering the field, capable, but making every movement with a little extra thought. While with Gen 3, people are expecting actions to feel more instant and smoother. That means fewer pauses, less hesitation, and a more natural flow. Then comes accuracy. Imagine both robots are told to lift a box. Gen 2 may get the job done, but the idea behind Gen 3 is that it performs with greater precision. How much force to apply, where exactly to hold the object, what angle to use. These small details make a huge difference in the real world. Movement and flexibility follow the same story. Think of Gen 2 like a person who is strong from the gym but whose body feels slightly tight, while Gen 3 is being imagined as more flexible and more controlled, turning, bending, reaching, and working continuously. All of these depend on movement quality, and that is why the idea of sport-level engineering keeps coming up again and again. Now let's understand energy efficiency. If a robot is extremely powerful but drains its battery too quickly, then the advantage becomes limited. That is why future robots may not just be powerful, they will also need to use energy intelligently, use power only where needed, and save energy the rest of the time. Then comes processing power and response time. This is the invisible engine of the robot. If a robot looks fast but takes too long to make decisions, the whole experience falls apart. The idea behind something like Gen 3 is simple. Information comes from cameras, AI understands it, decisions are made, and the body reacts immediately. But now the question becomes, what will it actually do after all this? Will it only work inside Tesla factories? Maybe not. Imagine a future where a robot continuously lifts items in a warehouse, arranges boxes, works day and night, and never gets tired. Now imagine a home environment. Someone elderly is living alone. The robot could hand over things, bring items, and provide basic assistance. Then there are home tasks, lifting objects, organizing things, and handling routine work. Right now, this sounds a bit like science fiction, but the idea is that humans could save time by reducing repetitive work. And one of the biggest uses could be in dangerous environments, places where sending humans is risky, extreme heat, hazardous zones, heavy industrial work, or emergency situations. If robots can work there, then it becomes more than convenience. It could become a matter of safety too. Are human jobs at risk? Now let's come to the question that probably appears first whenever people start talking about Tesla bot or any humanoid robot. Are human jobs in danger? Because the moment people see a robot walking, lifting objects, or doing work, one thought immediately comes to mind. If a machine can do all of this, then what will humans do? But the answer is not that simple. Think about it. If a robot can do the same work continuously for 10 to 12 hours without getting tired, without taking breaks, and while maintaining the same quality, then companies will naturally look toward automation in those areas. And that is exactly why people feel concerned as well. If you think Tesla bot Gen 3 could really change the future, then make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and press the bell icon so videos like this reach you before anyone else.